My mom wrote me a letter. Being the next Conor McGregor is not a fucking plan. Man up, grow up. You have options. Go figure them out in college. I think I was right. Confidence sounds arrogant and cocky until someone succeeds in what they're saying.
Yeah.
My goal in mixed martial arts is to be remembered as one of the greatest.
Last year in August, you fought Neil Magny. This brought quite a lot of headlines, didn't it?
Yeah. So I went out there for 15 minutes and I beat like so.
Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of The People Who Do Good. Today, I'm speaking with someone extremely special, and I already know that this is going to be an episode that I'm not going to forget. So I really hope that you enjoy it today. I'm joined by Ian Machado Garry. Ian is a professional MMA fighter who, as of this year, ranked number 7 in the welterweight division of the UFC. He still remains undefeated in the octagon with 15 professional fights fought and all 15 won. That's 7 by knockout, 7 by decision, and 1 by submission. He's also one of the fastest rising fighters that the MMA has ever seen and UFC has been able to witness. Mm-hmm. Also, I haven't even mentioned, he is only 26 years old. So it is with every ounce of me. I'm so happy that you're here with me today, Ian. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for
How
having me.
are you?
Good. That's a nice little intro.
Oh,
26 years of age and a lot accomplished and a lot more to go after.
Absolutely. The majority of your life has been spent in this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were born in, I don't want to butcher this, Portmarnock.
Portmarnock, yeah.
Portmarnock. Love it.
Yeah.
Dublin, Ireland.
Born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. Loved my childhood as a kid. Growing up in Dublin was so fun and free.
Yeah.
Because Irish memories are just, go out, run, go play, get on your bike, go to the skate park, go do whatever it is you do. And I've always been an athletic kid, always someone who wants to compete, wants to be the best I possibly can be in anything that I'm doing. Yeah. And that just got me to where I am today. Just the love and the passion for combat sports has got me here. So yeah, I'm very happy with my life.
And you started in boxing at age 10.
Yes.
After being inspired by surely who is the king in your eyes, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, so I started boxing. Boxing in Ireland is huge. It was always the go-to thing for a kid who wanted to get into combat sport. Yeah, it was massive. It was really, really deeply enriched in our culture. Yeah. The Fighting Irish is a saying for a reason. And boxing was massive. Like any kid around my age, all wanted to get into boxing, all competed, all loved training it. And then obviously I did that for a couple of years, and then Conor McGregor came about and kind of spun the entire world on its head and introducing MMA and UFC, but massive in Ireland. The change from boxing to MMA because of his success was massive in Ireland. Yeah. And it brought me to an MMA gym and has me where I am today because of his inspiration.
And then you became a black belt in judo at 18.
Yes.
At 18?
Yeah, so
black belt.
Yeah, that's a funny. So that one was. So I loved school.
Yeah. Okay.
But not for educational purposes.
I was about to say, because a lot of people would say the opposite thing, right?
Not for educational purpose, but my attitude with school was I get to see my friends every single day. I get to be around people that I've grown up with and enjoy spending my time with, and having a laugh and having a bit of banter and pushing the limits of, like, we're good, but we can push the limits of being naughty here and piss people off. So I loved it. I loved every day going in, homework, everything like that. I never really paid attention to it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't care if I got in trouble. It was more like
a social club,
right?
Yeah,
that's the way I looked at it. So when we got into like kind of the last 2 years in school, last 3 years, it was oh, you need to focus on your end of school exams. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not happening. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm the
So
type.
how old are you at this point?
15, 16,
yeah.
15, 16. I went, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's not something I'm going to focus my life on, is sitting at home studying. I'll go join the judo club across the road, because that's way more important to me, is like learning something new. And then I just got hooked. Learned judo, ended up just training 3-4 times a week. I went to one club, then I went and trained with the Irish national squad in a different place, and just kept training with them and learning. And then I went and earned my black belt like 4 years later.
So obviously that would come so naturally, right? If you're spending 95% of your life in that area, you're bound to reach a success at such a young age quickly, right?
I've always loved sports. I've always loved the dedication, commitment, and equally sacrifice that you have to have.
Yeah.
And I've just always pushed myself as a kid, and it's not stopped to this day, and I'm going to keep on pushing.
Did any of the other lads in your group when you were that young go down that direction as well? Did any of them go into fighting?
No.
No.
A lot of them were exceptionally talented. A lot of them were very, very well accomplished at a young age. There's very few that I know of now that are still doing it and competing at the high levels. But it's one of those things, I kind of don't focus on anyone else except myself. I know it mentally in the back of my mind, but I just focus on me, and I got to do everything I can. I've got a very short window to go out there and be the best I can be, and I need to focus on it.
That gives me goosebumps. Like you've got a short window, right? This career that you're in, you've got to grab it whilst the opportunities are there. You've got to keep saying yes. You've got to keep training. You've got to keep showing up for yourself, for the sport, and this is a passion of yours.
Yeah, I have to do it for a couple of my own mental health first. I love training. If I ever get shitty, it's because I haven't trained.
Really?
Yeah, if I ever get a bit mentally shitty or a bit kind of lethargic, it's because I've not been training.
I've seen this in athletes. It's like you're so set on your training, and it's a lifestyle. And then when you don't follow that, or you take a day off or something, it completely messes with your
It throws off
schedule.
the balance. Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's like, for my sanity, my mental health, and the people that I've surrounded myself and love, the best version of me is an active me.
Yeah.
And that means training, preparing for a fight, competition, focus, drive, determination, everything that I want to achieve benefits me, but also benefits the people around me, because the more I can focus on being the best me, the more I give the best me to them.
Yeah.
So that matters. So yeah, it's for me, it's like, I enjoy it. I enjoy it so much, and I know that it brings the best out of me, and I can't stop. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, I just can't stop it.
You shouldn't, because look at how successful you are right now. Take me back to when you were saying you dropped out of school at quite a young age. Probably like that is the crucial point, right? Where kids at that age are thinking, I've got to go this way, and I've got to do so well in my exams, because I'm not going to be successful if I don't get all A's and B's, go to uni, follow that typical route. But you are so headstrong and believed in your ability. What did your family think when you said, guys, this is it, I'm going to pursue that career in MMA?
So I didn't ask them what they think.
No.
Never asked them for their opinion.
You didn't?
It's not their opinion, it's not their life. For me, it was the first time in my life I properly listened to my own heart and soul and followed my gut. If you're unsure of something in life, you might ask someone's opinion.
Yeah.
And go, look here, I need some advice. What do you think I should do? I didn't need that. I knew what was right in my heart and my soul. I knew what my destiny would be, and I knew I would be able to achieve my dreams. I didn't need someone to essentially tear that dream down and say, no, you should do the normal pathway. So it was the first time in my life I've went, I'm going to do this. And if I succeed, pat on my own back. If I don't, okay, Ian, you gave it a go. So when I finished my exams, I did them all in school because I did it. I just did it. I didn't care for it, but I just did it.
Okay, good.
And then my mom wanted me to go to college. She was like, please, Ian. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Why am I going to spend 3 or 4 years finding out and figuring out what I want to do? I kind of know what I want to do. But she was like, give me a year. I said, I'll make you a deal. I'll do a year to please and satisfy you. To please and satisfy you. But I want you to know I don't want to do it. I hated every second of it. And when I finished the first year, I went, I'm done.
So you did do it though?
I did 1 year to please her.
Yeah.
And I went, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going to people please ever again. So I'm done. And I didn't. I walked. My mom begged me to go back in for the second year. I walked in. I went, fucking hell, you're getting under my skin now asking me this. I said, I'll go in. I walked in the first day and I walked straight back out. I walked in and I had a visual. It was lads sitting on one side, women sitting on the other. And I went, I'm not 6. I'm gone. See you later.
There's no place for me
It was like that visual of just like separation, and it was just, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I quit that day. I quit college. I rang my uncle. I said, look, I need a job. Can I come clean windows with you? I'm quitting college. I was like, don't tell my mom. I haven't said it to her. He's like, yeah, no problem. We'll find something. And I said, look, we'll meet up and we'll have a conversation about it soon. So for me, it was a big point in my life because it was the main turning point for me to be where I am today, because had I not followed my heart and soul in that moment, I wouldn't have got to where I am now. Because from that moment, everything I was doing, my heart was into going to a gym, go learn MMA, go follow your dreams. And if you fail, you gave it a go. If you succeed, congrats, kid. Well done. You did it.
Ian, that is I always think of this, like, such an important message. Why I do this, right, is because it was always a thought. And it's like, God, I really want to try that. And you've got to do it, right? You've got 100%. To try it, because if it doesn't work, you can quite happily live with your life and say, I tried.
100. I would rather be someone who went, I gave it a go, than I never tried at all.
Yeah.
And like, I've had people give me negative feedback on it by no choice of my own. Like, they've given it to me because it feels like they matter. Like, I didn't ask your opinion, but like, my mom wrote me a letter. And it's lasted time. It's like, time has won that battle with my mom. Let's put it that way.
What was in that letter?
So in the letter, it was saying was my mom basically explaining her frustration with me quitting college, and her explaining how she's never been so disappointed in me, how I need to man up, grow up. You need to go in, and a word for it, I don't have my phone to kind of get it out, but it was like, you need to go get a job. You need to commit to your degree, because your degree shows commitment to a company that will then hire you, and you can go get an amazing job. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't click with me. That doesn't satisfy my brain. Like, I don't want that. And she wrote in the letter these words, and these words matter. Being the next Conor McGregor is not a fucking plan. Man up, grow up. You have options. Go figure them out in college.
How does that make?
26 years of age, 15-0, undefeated, on the way to winning a world title within the next two to three fights. Oh. I think I was right. She knows it. Everyone else knows it. And I made the right decision.
If
That's
that
what
doesn't
matters.
give you goosebumps, everybody. Yeah. Ian, you are literally undefeated. You're undefeated. You are a professional UFC fighter. Yep. Like, these are not words that you say lightly. No. You must just sit and feel like, I'm the shit. I'm sorry.
I am the shit. 100% I am. I'm the top 1% of the 1% of fighters in the world. Like, when you talk about boxers and karate fighters and taekwondo fighters, whatever you want to call them, MMA is the most well-rounded sport in the world. You've got every single background of martial arts mixed into one amazing organization where we go out and we test it. Yeah. And I know for a fact that I can walk down any road, any street, and go, I've got you all. I walk into any gym and go, I know what I'm doing. I've learned a craft, I've learned a skill, and I'm still learning it. I will never be perfect, because that's what we always strive for, but you've got to keep growing and evolving.
Work in progress.
So it's like, I've earned my skill set, I've earned my status, and I'm never going to stop. I have so much more to prove to myself.
And how does that make you feel when that letter that you had from your mum, the one person who we would all want in our lives to really, like, back us, Was that ever an issue for you? Or you felt, I'm just going to keep going, we're going to make it?
I feel like the most important part of that entire memory is that I did what was best for me and my mental health and my life, and I didn't let anyone else have a say or get involved, and that matters more to me than anything else. Because there is people in my life that I care about and that matter to me, but that decision, that part of my life was far more important to me. I made my decision because it was everything that I needed to do on my own, and I feel like that brought a lot of independence to my life. From that moment onwards, I need to trust myself more because I know what I'm doing.
Which is like such a technique and a skill to have at such a young age. Takes people a lifetime to learn, right?
It's definitely a moment of empowerment in my life when I look back at it, for sure, because how many kids when their moms are saying you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, and I'm not gonna be there for you, support you. That's like, all right, cool, I don't need it. No. I've got this. Okay, cool. You want to be against me or you don't want to support me? Fine, I'll give you reason to show you I was right.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's incredible.
So it's one of those things.
So like
I'm very happy.
We fast forward and like you're doing these incredible fights. You are undefeated. You're training constantly. You're only getting bigger and bigger now. When you are fighting, you're fighting against people who are being trained by some of the world's best coaches. Yeah. I've seen your fights. How do you maintain that level of confidence? You come out on that mat, your showmanship is, if anybody hasn't seen any of Ian's fights, they are amazing. And your showmanship is great. And I just always think, I just want to be in that. I want to be there in that atmosphere because you put a show on. You really do.
I think of the greats and I think of the Muhammad Ali's and the stories that I've heard by mouth, the way he fought and the way he talked and the way people were excited to watch him. I've seen it firsthand in Ireland with Conor and the way people talk about him. Like every Monday, Conor fought on a Saturday. Every Monday, people would come into school and be like, did you see what he said? Did you see what he said after the fight? Did you see all the press conferences, the lead up, everything? That's like, it creates a spark in people that brings conversation and enjoyment and connection. So to me, being the best competitor and putting on a show for the fans, but also for myself, I want to have fun because that's what matters. We want people to be entertained. I want people to go, holy, did you see what he did? Like did you see what the guy looked like after the fight? Like I want those shock moments where people are kind of like, oh my God, like he's unbelievable.
Makes them remember who you are.
Exactly. And it's an everlasting memory when you can completely dismantle one of the world's best fighters and do it with ease and a smile on your face. So I'm always searching for the most fun, the most enjoyment I can get out of a fight, but also the most intelligent approach because I am 26. I am young. I am handsome. I want to stay like this. I don't want to get cut open and marked and bruised. And for me, it's like I have a family. I don't want to get hit that much. I want to be able to remember my kid's name. And it's such a violent sport, but I've done well so far, and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, do you ever worry about those things? Because you hear with MMA, boxing, fight, like all those kind of these brutal sports, and you're not wearing big gloves either. Nope. What are they? They're like little mitts.
I think they've gone down to like 2-ounce gloves.
There's not a lot
which
there.
Is nothing in it.
You are there, you are vulnerable, and you are taking
and I love
punches.
It. And I love every second of it.
You never worry about the health side of it.
Not in the fight, no, because I've signed up for it. I think like, for me, that's the freest I can be is with the love and the passion I have for martial arts. Putting myself in that vulnerability is so free and so fun and exhilarating because there is nothing stopping me from absolutely dismantling another human and him going out there and completely ruining my face. There is nothing except me and my skill set and him and his skill set. Yeah. And it's that pure competition that drives me. You're one of the best fighters in the world. you've planned and prepared and trained for me specifically for 12 to 8 weeks. And I'm going to walk all over you. And I'm going to get my hand raised. And there is nothing you can do about it. That, to me, it's why I'm so confident. It's a reason, like, I have this confidence in me that I know how good I am and I know how amazing I can be.
Yeah, you have to. Can you imagine if you didn't and you're like, I think I'm
didn't,
okay? You're going to get eaten alive, right?
If you didn't, or if someone doesn't have that mindset, they will never be the greatest. Yeah. And that's in anything in life. If you want to be the greatest barista, you need to believe that you can be the greatest barista.
Absolutely.
If you want to be the greatest footballer on the planet, you need to sit there and be like, I'm going to be better than Messi.
Yeah.
I'm going to be better than Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And the people who say you're crazy will always think you're crazy until someone goes and says it and does it. That's the truth. Confidence sounds arrogant and cocky until someone succeeds in what they're saying.
Yes, you're so
So
right.
for me, sitting here now as a 26-year-old undefeated fighter, I've achieved a world title already. I plan on achieving many, many more. I have said my goal in this sport and my goal in mixed martial arts is to be remembered as one of the greatest. So that when people talk about who's the greatest of all time, my name's in the conversation.
Yeah, it's got to be.
My name's in the conversation because it is opinion.
Yeah.
It's opinion based. My name better be in that hat because I'm going to earn it. I have to go out and do it. I have to train the best I possibly can. I have to go out and back it up.
Yeah.
But if I don't think it, I don't believe it, then I'm never going to achieve it.
It's the actions, right?
I have to go out,
focus,
and give everything I possibly can. When I fight, when I train, I need to make sure that I am staying true to myself and true to my goals. Yes. And everyone will say I'm cocky. Everyone will say I'm arrogant. Everyone will say I'm like, that's a bit far-fetched. But when I do it, and we can sit back here in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, and I'll be able to sit here and say, Ian Machado Garry is one of the greatest fighters you've ever seen step foot on this planet. There'll be no argument at that point.
No, there won't be. And they'll be eating their words. Yeah.
It's as simple as.
What is that walkout feeling like? Because everyone's seen it. It's it's dramatized, it's intense. What is the feeling for the actual person walking that walk?
So I feel like this is where you separate. That's the part that separates people.
Yeah.
Because how do I word this correctly? You can be a lip and you can talk and you can say, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. But when it's time to show up and you walk out in front of 20,000 and you're fighting in front of millions on TV.
Oh my gosh.
It's the best in the world are able to succeed in those moments. But not only succeed, thrive under the bright lights. I've always felt like I get better in those moments. Like the more people that are watching me and the bigger the stakes, the better I perform. I can't explain why.
It's the pressure
I can't explain why.
Yeah.
I just know that I go out and I do everything I say I'm going to do in those moments. Yeah. And I love every second of it. I embrace it. I guess I fight with emotion. I fight emotionally, which many people say in this world is a bad thing when you can't control the emotions. But when you can harness them and you can be aware of them and go, okay, I'm going to go out there and use these because there's nothing more powerful than using those emotions to go out there and be the best version of you.
Okay, yeah.
So when I walk out and I hear the crowd and I hear that walkout song and I walk out to Layla from Eric Clapton.
Do you get to choose that song?
Yeah. I'm fucking right. I've chose it, right? So I chose that song because it makes me think of my wife, my family. It makes me think of why I'm doing this all. And it's because I want to be the best me, but I want to put on a show for the woman I love.
Yeah.
And that matters. So when I think about that and I hear that, and I'm like, okay, baby, here we go. Let's go. You get ready for a show. Yeah. I'm a showman. I'm putting on a show for her.
Your lovely wife, Layla, is at the side.
And she sat there smiling. She never gets nervous. She loves it. And for me, I get to go out there and do everything we've spoke about. Because There is no one I speak to more about fighting than her. There is no one who understands the way I want to approach a fight and the way I understand fights better than her.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I love you. I got you. We're together in this. Enjoy the show. And
so
for me,
cool.
because I've connected with a walkout song like that, and I know she's in the building, and I get to go out there and prove how right I was as that kid, and we get to like enjoy this together.
Yeah.
That matters to me. So the walk for me, it empowers me. It makes me feel emotional, and it brings out the best in me.
There's
every single
nothing
time.
more special than like that. That's really lovely. That's only a
it's a love
moment that
story.
you know, though. It's a love story, but that's no one will experience that but you and your wife Layla.
And no one needs to get it.
No one
It's
will
not-
get
it's
it
not for
either,
anyone
'cause
else, it's for me.
It's a personal feeling.
It's for me, and it's for her. It's for us to connect, and it's for us
Yeah.
to look back at and enjoy and remember.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love fighting. She loves watching me fight, and it's our moment. And it's like,
Yeah.
dreams are so powerful, and it's dreams that got me to where I am in the first place. It's the confidence of being able to follow that dream that matters, and I'm living the dream I wanted to live, and I'm not going to stop dreaming because I've got someone who empowers me with that and supports me on it and pushes me. We were having a chat recently, and she said to me that a woman was explaining on a podcast how she's always been the one, not my wife, I can't, 1 second. My wife showed me a video of a woman who runs a podcast, and she was explaining how her and her husband's relationship together, working together, has helped him be successful. Because when he sat there and there's no one else supporting her, she's the one saying, get up off the couch, you can go do this. Come on, you've said this. Like, you speak to me at night in bed, you tell me you want to go do this, do it. Like, I'll take the kids, I'll take the family, you go, do the best. It's when you can create a relationship and you have someone who backs you and speaks about you so positively and understands your dream and gets it, when you can dream together, the dream becomes easier.
It
becomes easier.
Unstoppable.
And then you get family, and then you get kids, and then you get a team around you, and it empowers you.
Yeah.
And it's more to fight for, it's more to work for, and it's a bigger drive. So having stuff like that matters.
And it ends up not just being about you, does it? It becomes about your lovely little son Leo.
Exactly.
And where he's gonna like end up with watching his dad and his mum together accomplish 100%. This incredible life that they have built together. It's really powerful. Exactly.
Being good parents is now on my priority list. It never was before because I was never a dad. But when I wake up in the morning and I see him, I'm like, all right, I've got to be a better human every day to prove to you what a good man looks like, what someone who loves his mother, someone who's there for people, who helps out people and does good things. It's like I'm literally, my son will be a mirror of whatever I do, mentally, physically, emotionally. He has to learn from me, and I have to be a good inspiration to him. So everything changes now that I'm a father.
Aww. Ian, I have to ask you, do you have a signature move? Because I say this, I've watched your fights. You've got a killer leg. Oh my God, the kicks.
Sick. The kicks are good.
Guys, just watch his fights and you'll see what I mean. They're brutal to the point. I'm not so clued up on MMA, and I wish I knew the technical terms.
Most MMA fighters aren't, so you're okay.
But when I watched it, I'm like, oh God, the kicks. Those kicks are brutal.
I feel like my kicks are the most vicious part of my game because of the timing and speed I have on them. Yeah. I understand them to such an elite level.
Yeah.
But realistically, I feel like it's just my manipulation of movement is something that people don't get.
No,
they don't understand. But they don't understand the little footwork, the way I move people into something, the way I set a trap is so elite and such a high level of IQ. Most fighters wouldn't be able to understand it if I explained it to them. So it's one of those things. I feel like my movement, my speed, and my ability to take advantage of that split second, I would say are my biggest specialties. And I just rinse and repeat it on everyone I fight against, because having those tools, a high IQ, a high awareness of movement and speed,
And
just
what's
so
that
intelligent.
word? Is it like agility?
Agility would make sense.
Because
Flexibility.
you're so quick, and they're coming at you really quick as well. You've got to know their every move. If you get dropped on the floor, you've got to watch your back, then he's on you.
I have great natural instincts of defense that I don't need to think about it. My body just kicks in and goes, here you go, take this avenue, and just I don't think about it. I just naturally fight. I'm a fighter at heart. My body, my soul is a fighter, and I just go out there and have fun. And the best version of me is the happiest version of me.
I love it. You speak about being a father now. That's a really important part of your life. And last year in August, you fought Neil Magny.
Yeah.
This brought quite a lot of headlines, didn't it? Specifically, what's the terminology for it, Ian? The chat before the fight, when you're individually saying stuff.
Yeah, the lead up. So the lead up to a fight. I know where you're going with this, so I can take you down the road where I felt this. Leading up to my fight with Neil Magny, he was sat down in a press conference and said an absurd statement, and no one pulled him up on it.
Yeah.
As someone who has just had a kid at that point and is so passionate about being a father and wants to be the best example for my kid. This kid was 2 at this time, and he said, I'm gonna like. It annoys me a little bit to a certain extent. But he said that the comparison of how he disciplines his child and how it's compared to a fight is disgusting. I pulled him up on it and I said, you should shut your fucking mouth. You should sit down. You should think about everything you've said because that's ridiculous. And as a man, as a father, I should never, ever, ever lay my hands on my son or on a child. Lay hands on someone who's going to fight back. So I went out there for 15 minutes and I beat the bollocks out of him.
Yeah. And
because I was so emotionally driven to go out there and prove that you cannot raise your hand to your kid.
Absolutely.
That you come down to their level. You speak to them with love and care. And if that doesn't work, guess what? Find a different way.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You don't raise your hand to kids ever. There's never, ever, ever a scenario where you should raise your hand or physically abuse your kid and then definitely not brag about it.
No.
Or use it in any way comparatively to a fight.
Yeah, and I can see how this brought up a lot. And it was at that pre-fight media conference and you did not let him talk.
No, he said, there's 2 types of beatings you give in this world. There's the beating you give a guy at school when they talk about your mom, and then there's the beating you give your kid. And being a father, I've got quite accustomed to giving that type of ass whooping.
Yeah.
That should never, ever, ever be said.
Yeah.
We are in a new age of the world where, as men, we need to set better examples to our kid.
100%.
And we need to be better and do better because we need to break that cycle. And I will never, ever raise my hand or accept anyone bragging about raising their hand to their child, ever.
No.
So I went out there and I gave him a hiding.
This is a really important message, actually, Ian, and this is one of the reasons I was really excited to have you on today, because you're an individual, you're a professional fighter who is... The profession you're in is aggressive, it's angry, it's fighting, you're aiming to hurt the other person, the opponent. But we can do that with love and care. Of course.
We can do that so I get where you're going. We can be those animalistic savages who go in there and in the most violent way fight. You're trained to fight. Still be good humans and still fight, but have love and care for our family and people who we surround ourselves with and set good examples. Exactly. But we don't see that from an MMA fighter typically, Ian. No. And you're setting this example. Can you imagine, right, of all these kids now, these young Irish lads typically who are in your position, they're growing up to watch you now. Of course, Conor McGregor, they are watching you as well. You are pathing a new way for these kids to show example of, hey, it's all right to be vulnerable. It's also okay to stand up for something you're passionate about and call out bad behaviour. Yeah. And it's really sad that you didn't get the good press that you deserved in terms of sticking by something you're
calling out bad behaviour.
Yeah, but people won't. It's a tricky subject for people to talk about.
Yeah,
because it's not going to get the response that some people would want. But I can guarantee if you sit down and speak about it, it should never be an option to raise your hand to a child.
Ever.
It should never be an option. And you can love your kid tough without putting a hand on them.
Completely agree with you.
Tough love isn't physical. But tough love is done by good parents. And it's tough. Being a parent and showing and being responsible for something like that is a challenge. And the people who can deal with that adversity and verbally come down to their level and speak and talk and understand the how and the why of a child. Why are you frustrated? Why are you doing something? Why are you not listening? To people who can understand that and find a way or an avenue around that problem, they're going to be the humans that succeed. They're going to help a child be better in life because they're not going to physically lay hands on them. And I will always sit here and be an advocate of sticking up for kids.
Yes.
Because we don't need to put hands on them. We need to love them. And we need to love them. And we need to love them hard at the same times, but we don't need to be physical.
Amen.
Yeah, amen to that, right?
On the opposite, and you've also got inside the ring, you are one of the most feared fighters. Yeah. I'm saying it. You are. And outside
you
of
don't have
the
to
ring,
say it. I'll say it.
They're all
scared.
Scream it.
Yeah, I'll say it. If you don't want to say it, I will.
I'm here and I'm going to scream it. And then on the outside of the octagon, you're fighting for another cause here, and you're fighting against the stigma of STIs.
Yes.
This is our next thing we're going on to.
This
is really cool. I'm really fascinated by this. Is it recently you've become a Halo ambassador?
Yes.
For Zults.
Yes.
And for those out there who don't know what Zults is a sexual health app which is used by individuals to upload and securely share their STI results.
Yes.
So this app's been developed over 5 years, and it kind of, when I was reading about it, it seems like it's being it goes hand in hand with online dating, these apps, everything. The world is ever changing, right?
Zults is the future.
Yes.
Of sexual health.
Can you imagine that you are able to just upload it?
It's
within seconds as well, not minutes.
Zults is creating an environment where an uncomfortable conversation becomes comfortable.
Yeah.
And in a conversation where maybe you're on a date or with a partner or with a friend, and you don't want to bring up that, should we ask this question of, what's your testing scenario? Have you been tested? Should we bring up this mood killer?
Yeah.
It's a comfortable way to remove that awkward conversation. And I believe that when I think of my kids and I think of the world we want to live in, I'm very passionate where I want my son to be able to sit there and confidently talk about his sexual health, because at the end of the day, it is his health.
Yes.
I am a massive advocate of my body is my temple and my health matters. Your health is your wealth.
Yes.
We speak about, we want money, we want fame.
Yeah.
What about good health?
Good health comes first.
Good health.
Absolutely.
So for me, it's such an empowering point, because the technological advancements that this testing app is bringing people to be able to securely share their results.
Results.
Results it's genius. So Zults is the future of sexual health. And I am a massive advocate for everything that they're doing.
What made you want to become an ambassador for them? Why? How did this conversation start for you?
So, as a fighter, I get a lot of blood tests.
Yeah.
And I go through, and we have to get them every 6 months. I share the mats with 60, 65 grown men who are on the mats. Wow. I've busted people up on a daily basis, knees to the face, splat blood nose, cuts above the eye. It happens so much. It's a violent sport. When we're training, we're preparing for this. But you've got bodily fluids, you've got sweat, you've got blood. It's being transferred, and we just continue, because in a fight we would. To know that I am training safe. And I can then, because if someone was to come into the mat and carry an STI, it can transfer to everyone in that academy.
This is mind-blowing. You would never, ever think...
You'd never think about
of UFC fighting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also a breeding ground for STI.
Of course it is, because of just the transfer of body fluids and blood. And it's a perfect example. And I'm someone who takes my health very seriously.
Yeah.
I absolutely prioritize being the healthiest I possibly can be. Yeah. And I feel like we need to speak more about health and prioritize health more. And sexual health is such an awkward conversation for people to have. Yeah. I feel like it's Zults is going to make it far more comfortable in the future.
Yep.
For people to share and discuss sexual health. And I feel like it matters so much. And, you know, since I've become an ambassador for the brand, STIs are on the rise. It's a silent epidemic.
Yep.
And it's something that I believe when you look at something like Tinder or Grindr or whatever these apps are in the world, having this status or having the ability to securely share and send your results to someone and share your results is just going to eliminate that awkward conversation. And I feel like it's a game changer.
It really is. It should it needs to be advertised on Tinder, and it should be some sort of partnership there.
100%.
Because it's making it safer for everybody to...
100%.
That just blew my mind when I thought...
Well, how many conversations have you had on a date or with another human, whether it be a friend who's talking about getting tested or whether it's with another guy or another girl or partner, whoever it is in the world, how many conversations you've actually actively had with someone? Because I haven't had very many in my life.
No, well, my boyfriend now is my only current partner that I've had, so I've been with him long term. But I couldn't imagine being on a first date and going, not even a first date, but just being new as someone and being like, so...
Because it's an uncomfortable situation, right?
Of course, right, you need to know.
Having that conversation is a dampener. It is a mood killer. And it is that, like, even just knowing these things and bringing up that conversation, it is something that in this world is considered awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's try and get it to a position where it's not. And having a link or a QR code, or you can literally link it to your Apple Wallet and send it and show it to someone. Having that security for your own health is so important. And that's why Zults is the future of sexual health.
And it's great for them to have you as an ambassador, someone, like I say, who's typically quite, you're a fighter. Not a lot of fighters show their vulnerable, caring, soft side, and you are doing that, Ian. That's what makes 100%. You so special, and it does separate you from the crowd and the other fighters, because for you to have your platform as well, and you're able to send these positive messages of what you stand for, what you believe in, I think that's really key for your fans, and it's special.
Look, I'm aware that I have a platform that young kids who are into MMA or young kids that watch the sport or just follow me because they think I'm awesome. I'm aware that what I post and what I do directly affects their mental space, like and how they would approach a situation. For example, I would hope that one kid would sit here, and if someone ever talked about like abusing their son or beating up their kid, I would hope someone would pull them up on it. Yeah. And if one person does it, great. So it's the same conversation. I would hope that my involvement in Zults and bringing a platform where we can comfortably talk about sexual health to make the world more comfortable about that conversation. Yeah. I would hope that I can bring that to a couple of people in life. Absolutely. Because that's the goal, is to make it better. And I speak about my family. Like, I want my kids to be able to confidently bring up this conversation, remain safe and remain healthy and prioritize their body, because at the end of the day, their body is their temple. And I want them to be confident to speak to anyone, to any partner or anyone they're going to have sexual relationships with, and be comfortable with it and know that that box is ticked. Like, we've had that conversation, we've got tested, and we can let the world go. Like, we can take away that kind of,
absolutely.
we don't need to have that awkward conversation anymore. Here's my Zults.
And it's just great.
Here's my link. Yeah. Check it out. Here, I've been tested. Boom. And move on.
It's a fantastic app, and I think more people should be aware of it.
I think they should.
Exactly.
And I think it's going to take over soon. They're amazing. They've got a great team. Everything that they're doing is phenomenal. Yeah. I'm a huge advocate for it, and I'm excited to see them succeed over the next however many years.
That is amazing. Throughout your 26 years, Ian, you have just achieved so much. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? That would take you to 31, 32.
So, I have a dream of being retired by the age of 30. Because I feel like if I fight 3 times a year every year, that's 9 fights from November to November 3 years from now. That's 9 more fights. I don't believe I need 9 more fights to be one of the greatest of all time if I go out and do everything I say I'm going to do. There's a lot more in life I want to achieve other than just UFC and MMA. Yeah. So for me, to leave that stamp, leave that legacy, remain undefeated, be one of the greatest of all time in the sport, but then go on and compete in boxing and win a world title in boxing, to maybe go on and push myself to be a professional golfer, to run multiple companies and do good in the world. There's a lot. And being done by 30 would be a dream. But I'll see. I've got a lot of life to live. I've got a lot of things I want to prove, and I will only know when I get to that point. All I know right now is there's a lot of potential matchups in the world of UFC and MMA that excite me. Yeah. And there's a lot for me to go out there and prove, and I'm not anywhere near close to being one of the greatest of all time, but I'm on my way, and I need to finish it off. So I need to keep rolling through people.
So you think you feel like your life will stay within sport, no matter if it's MMA, boxing, 100%. It will be in sport.
Yeah, I'm too physically active, and I enjoy it too much. I'm too much of a competitor. Yeah. I feel like I will always have a piece of me in sports. And yeah, I'm excited for it. And I hope my son grows up to be an athlete in some way, shape or form, so I can go, right, let's say he's a soccer player. Let's go to Brazil. Let's do football in Brazil. Let's learn there. Let's go do it. And I hope it's just like, for me, I know there'll be a certain point where I can prioritize my family and my kids and give them everything they need. Because again, going back to being a father and how it's so powerful to me and my goal, I want to be the father that when I'm going to empower you with everything you want to do. Let's go. You want to be a footballer? Let's go get you to the best football academy we can go. You want to be a painter? Let's get you the best paint set you want to get. You want to be a baker? Let's go find the best baker we can find and help you learn and grow. And I never want to stop. And that'll be it, because my success for me is never spending any time in winter ever. Always following the sun and giving my loved ones, my team and my family that support that they could only wish for. Yeah. But I don't want them to wish for it. I'm just going to give it to them anyway.
You just want to give that.
So that's my goal as a father.
Oh, Ian. I mean, you're an incredible role model to your fans. Can you imagine your son? He's going to think you're God when he grows up.
He's look, I will do everything I can to be the best role model for him, because it matters to me so much. But yeah, we've got a lot more to do in the world, and I ain't doing anytime soon. Can
you leave us with any intel, or have you got anything coming up that you can tell everybody what's going on in your current world of fighting?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest update in regards to fighting, there's a guy called Colby Covington, someone who has talked a lot of trash about me, my wife, my family, my team. He's talked a lot, and he's, again, for the second time now, avoiding a fight. He's avoiding me like the plague. He's saying no, and he just wants nothing to do with me. So that's the biggest bit of news I have right now, is that he has officially said no and wants nothing to do with me. No. Yeah, and it makes me feel very, very satisfied, because he's not even willing to step into the octagon with me, because he knows what I'll do to him. And it's a smart move on his behalf, because he knows what will happen. So yeah, we're going to look on to bigger and better things. And again, I'm 2 fights away from being a world champion.
Oh, so 2 fights
away from being a world champion. And I'm excited by a lot of the matchups that can come. There's only a couple of people that I can fight, a handful of people that I can fight in this world now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out there and be the best me I possibly can be, put on a show for the fans. And I'm going to prove that I am one of the greatest fighters to ever live. And it doesn't matter who is across the cage for me. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do me and have the most fun possible. And I'm going to do it in the most emphatic way I possibly can.
Ian Machado Garry, an absolute legend. And I can't thank you enough for your time.
I appreciate it.
I feel so lucky. And guys, that was like such a cool episode. I'm just going to act really cool now. I'm just saying. Do not sleep on Ian Machado Garry, because he has got every ingredient needed for the recipe for success. Not only has he captured the whole MMA world, he has got so many more fights left, and he's got so much left in him, and this is only the beginning.
We're still only young.
We're still only young.
I'm only 26. We've got a lot more life to live and a lot more things to do. I promise you now, I'm gonna make sure that like people remember my name. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure that my name is remembered in the history books, and it's gonna be in many, many, many different ways. And
the legacy you're gonna leave is gonna be one everyone's gonna want to read about.
Yep.
Follow his journey. I'm definitely going to be following it. I'm going to be like hooked now. And please stay safe with all your fights.
I will.
And
I've done well so far. Do you know what I mean?
You've got no scars. I can't see any scars at the moment.
No, I don't. Look, I don't like getting hit that much.
I can't imagine you do.
I'm very pretty. I want to keep what's in here safe.
Got to keep the money maker.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. These are the money makers. These are just different. They're fast. They're powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot more knockouts coming out with these soon. I'm going to start putting people to sleep very fast.
One thing, actually, I want to quickly ask you before we end this chat. Your nickname, The Future.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
So a long time ago. I say a long time ago. I think it was probably like 5 years ago.
Oh right. Yeah.
When I made my amateur debut.
Yeah.
In MMA. So many people in Ireland were talking about me, but I hadn't fought, because people who had trained with me or come to the gym where I was training in Dublin, word of mouth took over, and people started chatting about this kid, Ian Garry. They were like, this kid's the real deal. He's the next big thing. Keep an eye out for him. And people started to hear about me. So then I had my first fight in... I think it was up in Northern Ireland, and I went in there and I walked out to Imagine Dragons Radioactive.
Oh yes, right? Great.
And I was telling everyone, welcome to the new age of MMA. This is it. This is the new age. Welcome to the new age. And I went out there, and in 61 seconds, I knocked this kid out unconscious. And the commentator at the time, Phil Campbell, was like, ladies and gentlemen, have we just seen the future? And it just took fire. Everyone started calling me the future of Irish MMA. This is the future of the sport. Is this kid going to be the next Conor McGregor?
61 seconds.
61 seconds. It took me 1 minute 1 second. So my best friend at the time just finished someone in 62. So it was even better, because it's like I just went up to you again. And it was just that thing of like, all right, this kid, we heard about him. He came out. He did exactly what we've all been expecting from him. He went out. And he knocked this kid unconscious. I think we have the next Conor McGregor, basically. And everyone just started... Then this comparisons just started coming every single fight. The way I talked, the way I walked, the way I carried myself. It was all of these comparisons. And everyone was comparing me to, at the time, the greatest superstar of sport ever seen. And I'm like...
Oh, my word.
And I'm like, look, I've said it. I walked out to, like, Radioactive. I am the new generation of MMA. I am the youth that was inspired by Conor. I am here, and I am coming to put my mark on Irish MMA. I'm going to put my mark on this global platform that the UFC has gifted me with, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove that I'm one of the best fighters that's ever lived. And it started then, and it hasn't stopped since. I say it to everyone, the future is inevitable. My time is coming.
Oh.
And it's inevitable. I'm going to be one of the greatest of all time. The legacy I'm going to leave behind is going to be unquestionable and inarguable that I'm one of the greatest.
Ian, I could sit and talk to you all day. It is so... I even feel confident boosted within me. I'm like, I'm the best person in the world.
Good.
But yeah, the future, you are absolutely incredible. And like I say, I can't wait to keep following your journey.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and honour, and I hope you do very well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.